Hey y'all, welcome back. It's me, Lydia Marie. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button right now before we get into this tutorial. You guys voted on my community tab. I asked you what type of tutorial you wanted to see, soft glam or full glam, and y'all voted for soft glam. So this is the look that we're doing today. This is a step-by-step, in-depth tutorial. I'm going to go super slow and be super detailed in what I'm explaining and how to get a look like this that is considered to be soft glam. I'm going to let you know right now, soft glam does not mean no makeup. We are putting makeup on today, so make sure you go grab a little snack, grab your makeup brushes and your makeup tools, and follow along. Hi to my new subscribers and hello to my A1 from day ones. I see y'all. Thank you again so much for your well wishes. I'm getting there. Slowly but surely, I'm getting there. My recovery is going well. I'm very pleased about that. Very blessed that things are going well over here. So let's go ahead and get into the soft glam tutorial. I mean, look at the material. Look. I'm just saying, let's get into it. So before we get started with the tutorial, I'm going to explain a little bit what I believe that soft glam is. Soft glam makeup does not mean no makeup. It's not a no makeup look. When you see a soft glam, you're like, oh, I really like how she doesn't have on a lot of makeup. She has on makeup. So you still have to apply makeup, but it's about your application process. It's about a lot of blending, a lot of diffusing the products to make them look as soft as possible. You can, in my opinion, still do color like on your lids or do a colorful lip or what have you with a soft glam base with a face. So we're going to get into that. I just want you to keep that in mind because we are wearing makeup today. We are wearing the makeup today. So I'm going to start with my Milk Hydro Grip Primer. As with any makeup look, skin prep is key. I have already I washed, toned, I exfoliated my face this morning with my LMS exfoliating pads. I moisturized like triple. I put on a serum, I put on a moisturizer, and I put on a hydrating lotion type of primer. But I'm also going to add my Milk Hydro Grip Primer just to make my makeup stay on. And I'm adding it mostly in the middle where I tend to have the most pores, which is right here, and the most texture, which is on my cheeks. So I've added my color corrector. I'm using the same ones I always use, my Bobbi Brown color corrector, Deep Peach and Regular Peach. I put that under my eyes, on my cheek where my hyperpigmentation is, and around my mouth where I tend to have a little bit of dark areas. With your color correction, you don't need to put it on all over your face. You just need to tap it into the concentrated areas that you have it in, that you need it in, I should say. And for me, it's always a little bit right here around my mouth and like that. And again, because with soft glam, you want to diffuse. You want to make sure everything is super blended in so it just looks like an absolute seamless face. You guys know this step. I do this all the time. But this is a detailed tutorial, so we just gonna do it again. And I'm using the Sephora foundation brush, and I'm just tapping that in. Alright, so we have the color correction on. We're going to add foundation first. I'm not going to underpaint on this one, meaning I'm not going to add the contour, the bronzer, and the concealer first. I'm going to add my foundation first because I want this to be an airbrush flat base, and then we'll start adding back the softness with the bronzer and the concealer. So because I want to keep this a nice radiant look, I'm going to go in with the MAC Radiant Serum Concealer, or Studio Radiant Concealer. I posted plenty of videos on this, and honestly, I'm through half the bottle because it's just so good. So I'm going to take about that much, and with a natural glam look or a soft glam look, you want to take the foundation on the areas that you really need it. So again, for me, I like to take it on my cheeks and then build out with the rest of the product that would be left on my brush. So where I have the color correction right here on the bottom half of my face is where I feel I need the most foundation. With this look, I'm going to be using a flat foundation brush, and this is not as dense as a regular foundation brush, so it'll give me a chance to really get that foundation diffused and really be able to blend it in until it's almost not there or seamless. So I'm taking the foundation on the brush instead of on my face, and let's start on the left side where I really have the color correction, and I'm just going to tap that in, and you're going to see how exactly this blends out to an almost the most natural soft finish, I should say. And you want to make sure you're taking it back to your ears, taking it down your neck and your chin. And I'm just using whatever's left on the brush before I dip back into the rest on my hand. I'm not taking it up under my under eye because we're going to handle that. And let's do the other side. So again, soft glam doesn't mean we're not wearing makeup. It doesn't mean we're wearing a little bit of makeup. I'm actually going to take a little bit more on my brush and go over this area just a little bit more to cover what I can still see. And I'm taking it around my forehead as well. And I just want to make sure it's all even and blended, but very, very diffuse. Very, very seamless. There are no harsh lines. So let's just continue to blend that in. And again, because this brush is a little bit softer, it allows it to be, you can really get in there and blend. It's not so dense that it's keeping the product there, and you don't need a lot of pressure. And about your brows, when you're doing a soft glam look, your brows are not carved out and harsh. So I only filled in the top or the tail end of my brows and did a little bit here, but I'm just going to brush through them to keep them, again, soft, because that's the theme, right? We're going for soft glam. All right, moving on. So for this particular soft glam look, I'm not going to do my concealer highlighting yet. Instead, I'm going to go in with the cream blush. You can either use a liquid or a cream blush stick, like I'm using this one from Ami Collet. I'm going to add my blush first and then blend my concealer into it. We're also going to add another blush later on, but this is going to give us the underneath our skin type of glow or finish that we need for a soft glam look. So this is more of a neutral shade. I'm just going to tap that in a little bit high up, and we're going to blend that out. Actually, I'm just going to tap it in, I should say, with a denser brush and just tap that color in. So we don't have on concealer yet, but we will add more blush, and then we're going to add our concealer. And this is just going to give us a little bit of color before we add powder and before we highlight. But trust me, it's going to come together. So now that we have the blush placement, we have our foundation on, we have our color corrector on, we're going to highlight. Not too harsh. We don't want a super harsh highlight. So for that reason, I was going to use the LYS concealer, which is a little bit brighter, which I like for my under eye, but I decided to use the Givenchy Prisme concealer because it's not as bright as the LYS, but it still gives the coverage. Again, because we're going for softness, not for a super harsh contour, super harsh highlight. I'm going to be using a little bit of this under my eye for coverage and neutrality on my chin, on my cupid's bow, and I will add a little bit down the middle of my face, and we're going to blend that out, and you're going to see how it meshes with the concealer. I mean the blush, sorry. While you all know I normally use a dense concealer brush, for this soft glam look, I'm going to be blending this out with the sponge, the tip under my eye, the butt end of the sponge on my chin, and other areas. Using a damp sponge, not a wet sponge, really gives it a diffused type of finish when you're setting your concealer. Get the top lip. Get the bridge of my nose with the tip. That concealer is nice. OMG. And then get the under eye with the tip as well. And I'm going to bring that concealer right out to where I put on the blush to just give me a nice flush of color. Let's blend it. That concealer is so bomb. I literally cannot get over it. But I wanted you all to see how the concealer blended in with the blush, how it just brought everything together. This is looking very soft, but also starting to carve out some space because you can still see the color under my concealer, and you can still see the blush. So now, before we do the harsh, we're not going to do, I should say, a harsh setting powder. I'm going to take the Laura Mercier. This is the translucent powder in Honey. This gives a nice diffuse airbrush look, but it's also close to my skin tone. So again, it's not going to have the highlighting properties of a banana powder or something like that. Also, we're going to do an airbrush finishing powder all over the face to give that completeness to the foundation, to the color correction. And then we're going to conceal some more. Believe it or not, we got a little bit more concealer to add. I'm telling you, Soft Glam is not no makeup. We're wearing makeup today. For my under eye and to set all the areas of the concealer, I'm not going to go in with a super bright powder. I'm still going to use a setting powder, but I'm going to use something that is lightweight in formula and that really gives you a diffuse airbrush look. This is the Laura Mercier Radiant, I think it's called Radiant powder, and it's in the shade Honey, which is closer to my skin tone. And I'm going to take powder, y'all know how I do, on my muff, tap some off. And I'm going to start setting the concealer in the areas that I placed it. And then I'm going to set it under my eye. And over that blush area right here. And now we're going to sculpt. Since we've added the flatness, we've got our base set, it's all one color. We need to start bringing some color back into our face, but we're going to do it very light and very sheer. To sculpt our face, you guys normally know I would take my Fenty contour stick, but since we're doing Soft Glam, I want something that's going to give color, but still going to be a little bit sheer. So I'm going to use the Makeup by Mario Sculpting Enhancer. As you can tell, this is well worn. I absolutely love it, and I'm just going to swirl an angled brush in there. It's cream formula, and so I'm just going to tap it around where I would place my bronzer. And you see where I'm placing it right here above my ear. To find your cheekbones, you can always, nothing wrong with that, just so you know the correct place to place this type of product. And because it is a cream product and we've already added on concealer, I don't want to swirl this. I'm tapping this in, and that's okay to do with a denser brush because this is a sheer product. So it's totally okay to do this with this type of product. And now we start to bring some color and some structure back to the face. So we're moving on to eyes. Before we add any more color to our face, we're going to get into eyes. Soft Glam eyeshadow, I honestly love really doing those. It's super easy to achieve. It just takes some time. So for this demonstration, we're going to be using neutral colors. So we're going to be using browns and tans. I feel like that's a shade everybody has in their collection. I did put concealer over my eyes. I put a concealer that is the same color that I would use all over my face just to neutralize the eyelid. I am going to set that concealer just a little bit with some of this Kosas finishing powder, the Cloud finishing powder, just to give us a nice base for the eyeshadow that we are going to do. And for this eyeshadow look, we're only going to use 2 brushes. So I have a dense blending brush, and I think this is a Morphe brush, if I'm not mistaken. But it's got smaller head, it's still pointy, and I'm going to use this color to pack whatever we're using on our eyelids in this type of motion. Then I'm going to use a fluffy blending brush like this with the round tip, but much softer, and this is what we're going to use to blend out our eye color. So for my eyeshadow look, I'm going to be using the Rose Metals palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I'm going to take this first shade. This looks like a little grayish dark brown shade right there. This is the color Asher. If you can see that color, I'm sorry, it's called Ashes, not Asher. And this is this color has a lot of fallout. I'm going to be taking this shade and I'm going to tap that in on my lid, and then we're going to blend it out, and that's going to be our base color. So I'm going to start here, close to my lash line, tapping that color in. All over my eyelid. And then I'm going to take this fluffy blending brush that's clean, even with that powder on it, that's fine, that powder is translucent, and I'm going to blend this shade all the way up over my lid. You got your fluffy blending brush. To blend it, you want to hold it by the tip up at the top, and then we're just going to blend it. You can either do a windshield wiping motion. I tend to do a little swirl, but whatever, it's up to you. Until this is so nice and soft, it doesn't even look like you have anything on. And I'm moving it gently up to my crease. And we're just going to blend that out. And when you think you're not blended enough, blend some more. And I'm just gently moving that up my eyelid as I go, just for a little softness. All right, let's do the other lid. All right, so I want you guys to get nice and close here. Let me scoot this in so you can see. That's only one color on my lid. Now, if you want to take it a little bit smoky, or add a little bit of, not even smoky, I would say, just add a little bit of depth with a darker brown shade or a darker shade. Say if you're wearing gray, you can even do this with a nice gray color and just, you know, diffuse it out. But this is one color on my lid. That's one color. So if you want to make it just a little bit more dark, you can add a little bit of color to the V of it, and you would just take that same first brush and just add that color to this area and make it in a V. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a touch of metallic on my lid. Very small touch of this. And then we're still going to blend this out so it doesn't look like you have a disco ball on your lid. You know what I mean? So to keep the softness in your look, you can add a shimmer shade anywhere on your lid, or even just right here in the corner of your lid. I'm going to add mine with my finger, and then we're going to blend it out. I'm going to add this last little champagne color from the Natasha Denona Mini Glam palette. And I'm just pressing my finger in there, getting a little bit, and I'm going to tap this right here just to give my eyes a little bit of awakeness, a little bit of sparkle. But we're not going to leave that. But even that is still natural. It's still soft. But we're going to blend it out. And with a palette like this that's quality, you don't need a ton of it to make it go a long way. But still, we're going to blend it with that same brush. And we're just going to take it. Ow! Don't poke yourself in the eye. Don't do that. Good grief. And we're just going to take it and blend it out softly. Boom. For eyeliner, I need a little bit of something with this eye look. So I'm going to tight line my top water line. And if you don't know what tight lining is, you know how you line the bottom of your waterline here? It's the same, but on your upper eyelid. It takes very precise, slow motions to when you're first learning how to do it. So I'm kind of going to zoom you in. It's going to be a little gross because I have to open my eye. But I'm just going to take, and this is a gray pencil. It's not black or anything harsh. And I'm just going to take it and tight line right under my lashes. And this is the gel pencil from Sephora. So it's just adding just a little bit of depth before I put on the mascara. But it's not as harsh as the bottom eyeliner would be. So if you want to have a little bit of smudginess on your under eye, you can do that as well. I'm going to take a fluffy brush like this. No, actually this is too fluffy. I'm going to take, I'm going to take a brush like this, where I can smudge it out a little bit. And you can take that same shade that you applied all over your lid. So this shade Ashes. I'm going to take a little bit of that, clean this brush off a little bit, and I'm just going to keep it on the outer corner of my eye and let that settle in as the depth. At this point, feel free to add lashes if you are a lash girl. I don't have any lashes at the moment, but I am adding my favorite mascara at the moment, which is the Revlon So Fierce mascara. I have baby lashes, but this mascara really helps to fan them out and give me a little bit of volume while still keeping it soft. You see the difference? Girl, this mascara is bomb. So we're just gonna do it like this. I really put on mascara like my mom used to do. That is trippy to me. I look so much like her right now. Huh. Alright, let's add some cheek color to this look and add a lip, and then we're done. For blush, because I already have a cream blush underneath, a cream bronzer, I've added powder. I'm going to take a powder blush in a neutral shade. This is from Mented Cosmetics. This is in the shade Clay Too Much. This blush is extremely pigmented, so I'm going to go as light as possible, and I'm using the powder because I want to be able to diffuse it by swirling it into my face or by blending it into my face as light as possible. You don't want to have all this softness and then have a harsh blush. You have the eyes, you have the glowing skin, you have the even complexion with a little bit of bronzer, so you don't want to then add onto your Soft Glam look with a hell of a lot of blush. So I'm going to take this. That's even a lot. I'm going to take it off on my hand, and then we're going to tap the blush right above, right going up to my temple, and let that be the color that we have. So it's not going to outshine our eyes. It's not going to outshine the lip that we put on, but it's literally just going to give us a nice little flush of color. Still glam, still makeup, but very nice and very, very, just blend that in until the color is there, but barely. And you see the difference? That's perfect. When I'm doing a look with Soft Glam, I do try to keep the lips in as much formation as possible. So we're going to do a little deeper lip liner. I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury in Pillow Talk Intense. And this is the softest lip liner I've ever used in my life. I cannot believe how soft and creamy it is. And I'm just rubbing that in. So we're not going to use a darker lipstick to combine with this. I'm going to go a little bit natural on the lips. This is the Revlon 755 lipstick. This is the lipstick Meg Thee Stallion wore on the Renaissance World Tour. I did a video about the lip combo she had on, and I'm gonna take that and go over the lip liner and bring that back to a natural look. That's just a little too natural for me. You can stop here if you're good. I'm going to take a little bit of gloss. This is a gloss from Sephora. I got it in the Sephora collection in the shade Fly. It's got a little pink to it. And just add that to the middle. Do that. And I personally am just going to do a little bit more lip liner right here. Just in the corner. And there it is. Soft Glam. So this is the final look that we came up with to do this in-depth Soft Glam tutorial. I hope this was helpful to you guys. I tried to go as slow as possible and go step by step. But again, with the Soft Glam, just because it looks like you're hardly wearing anything, you saw how many steps we had. You are definitely wearing makeup. It's just about the application, the colors, the diffusing, and just making it look as little as possible. This is literally what I look like when I get hot, like when I blush. This is the color, so it's really giving that natural diffused look. I like how this turned out. I really do. Y'all know I'm a put that makeup on kind of girl. I want my makeup on. I like a cake face. So I like this look as well. So let me know if this was helpful to you. Thanks so much for voting in the poll. I listen to y'all. I'll be paying attention. And thanks again for tuning in. And make sure you hit that subscribe button, that like button down below. If you made it this far in the video, you might as well become one of the beauty fam. Thank you so much for tuning in, and as always, for your well wishes. I continue to see them. I appreciate y'all even reaching out to me via my email and Instagram and stuff like that. I love to see it. Thanks again for tuning in, and I will see y'all back here real soon. Bye.